So if there is something in life that is really fixed, is the idea that everything is changing, paradoxically speaking. Everything is moving, and everything requires constant adaptation in order to go on. This famous Darwinian conception that we even find in the Bhagavad, Jiva Jivasya Jivanam, that one living being is food for another, which means actually the survival of the fittest. In other words, the only one who will survive the test of time and circumstance are the one who had not so much the strongest one, but the ones who has the biggest capacity to adapt, of more and more flexibility. So we are very concerned with flexibility in yoga. We may start on a very external level of being flexible in our arms and legs and muscles and physical body, and gradually getting to the psychic level of flexibility and eventually the spiritual level of flexibility, where we are fully disposed to a perpetual change for better, progress, growth. Once Srila Siddhar Maharaj will say something very interesting in this regard. He said, the closer you get to the infinite, the more you realize that there is no limit to progress. So that's a really overwhelming experience. So are you ready for that? Because that's what is implied by practicing spiritual life. It's constant change. We come, again, Jiva Jivasya Jivana means even starting from nature, from matter, from the world of matter, everything is in constant flux, in constant movement. What to speak as we advance into higher and more dynamic and ecstatic realms, that we will find this type of idea. In contact with the infinite, there's no limit to the progress because we are in contact with the infinite. So are we ready for such a dynamic lifetime? Hopefully we are. But that's what spiritual life is about, basically. Spiritual life is not something static, but ecstatic. So even though spiritual life comes from that basis, we are here for changing, we are here for revolution, we are here for transforming ourselves. If we are not updating ourselves on a daily basis in this regard, to practice a spiritual life may end becoming the best excuse for not practicing a spiritual life. We may incur in self-cheating and just over-justify ourselves. Yeah, I'm practicing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm externally doing that, but internally no change is coming. So sometimes we may hide ourselves into the mask of so-called spirituality only to escape from real spirituality. Especially, for example, in the case of our school, we have such a big theistic prospect, such a high devotional ideal, that we may eventually become lazy and rest in the greatness of the ideal, and we are not doing our part, our change, to gradually advance in that direction. We may over-justify, make our ego feel comfortable. Oh, I'm such a high conception school. But yes, but you have to be, to adapt yourself to such an ideal also, we have to change. And the first step to change, as it is said, is awareness. And the second step to change is acceptance of what you are aware of the need of certain particular change. And of course, that gives a lot of fear when you realize that. Sometimes we may have even some nostalgic feeling for whatever we have to leave behind, what we have to change and become something more. That's the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna is inspiring Arjuna to change, to kill his false sense of self. That means to change. And the greatest warrior in the whole world is just on the floor trembling because of fear. So that's representing ourselves when someone is inviting us to change. So it's very important in that context to receive a proper support, proper guidance, proper trust and confidence that is empowering us by the proper association. So we may be inspired to change what we have to change. There's this Latin quote, said, mutatis mutandis, which means those things that can be changed should be changed. Some things may not be able to be changed till now, so okay, we have to accept that also as well. But, even God changed. Not only us, we have to change. Krishna himself is on a daily basis becoming more of himself. He's God, which means he's immanent, he's an eternal, he's always the same on one side of the equation, but also he's becoming more and more, discovering new sides of himself by the grace of his devotees and bhakti shakti. So Krishna represents an eternal being, but also an eternal becoming as well. So we as sadhakas, aspiring to be part of his retinue, also try to follow this same law. Eternal being, eternal becoming, eternal changing. See you next fortnight.